Hi, everybody. I'm Ian Bremmer, and it's time for another edition of The Red Pen.
The Red Pen.
Today's selection comes from the Financial Times. That's right, the Pinks. Their editorial board wrote a piece called Lopez Obrador Becomes Latin America's New Strongman. And it's all about Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, or AMLO, as he's widely known. AMLO was elected in a landslide victory nearly 2 years ago by Mexican voters who were fed up with corruption in their nation. And now a growing number have buyer's remorse as the economy continues to spiral downward and crime and corruption still remain pretty high. And the article correctly points out that this has not been a good couple of years for Mexico or for AMLO. I'd actually argue that economically speaking, they've probably mishandled the coronavirus crisis more badly than any other major economy in the world. So we agree with that. But it's time to get out the red pen because we're not buying the central argument of this piece. The Financial Times is writing that AMLO is an authoritarian populist, and under his leadership, Mexico is headed for a more repressive system. And the article cites all sorts of aggressive behavior against his critics, like intimidating the media or calling out environmentalists who don't like his infrastructure projects. When a president demands blind loyalty from officials, the FT writes, alarm bells should ring. And sure, AMLO is economically incompetent. As I mentioned, his policies are messy and he uses aggressive rhetoric, but we need to separate his bark from his bite. Is he intolerant and hostile? Yes. Is he suppressing protests? Is he shutting down media outlets? Is he disrupting the electoral process? Not at all. Next, the FT writes that while AMLO won a big victory in 2018, he did not win a mandate to dismantle institutions in Mexico. Well, actually, Mexicans elected AMLO precisely because they didn't trust those institutions and felt that they were only there to benefit the rich. Many of those same institutions were already weak or in need of reform. AMLO has accepted limits in Congress and the judiciary. He's made no mention of broad institutional changes in the country, as other authoritarian-leaning leaders certainly have done, countries like Turkey or in Hungary. Finally, the FT writes that under AMLO, the golden opportunity offered by the newly agreed U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement to lure American companies returning from China to Mexico is being squandered. And that is just wrong. USMCA, the new NAFTA, as it's called, would not have advanced without AMLO's full support. It was approved just last year, and then the pandemic hit the economy. It's hard to say what longer-term impact the trade deal is going to have, but while AMLO could have played hardball with Trump and ruined one of the most positive developments in the Mexican economy, he did exactly the opposite. There's another point the op-ed misses, which better explains why AMLO is president at all. Mexico has endured a couple of decades of very weak leadership and of widespread corruption, not to mention the impact of violent drug wars and disappointing economic growth. The average Mexican deeply dissatisfied with that, and it's one of the reasons why AMLO's support, even given how badly its economy is faring, is still pretty high. AMLO may not turn out to be the right guy to turn all of that around. In fact, I suspect he won't be for a number of reasons. But calling him authoritarian, FT, that is a huge exaggeration. So there you have it. That's your latest edition of The Red Pen. I'm Ian Bremmer. Stay safe and avoid people. See ya.